Yes, students, now today we are going to discuss about the history of psychology, right? And history of psychology in the sense like the theories which were put forwarded by the philosophers, which we discussed earlier. During the last session, we discussed about the philosophers. And now here we are going to discuss about the theories that they have put forward and what are those theories, right? So the first one is structuralism. Uh, The first one is structuralism, and the second one is functionalism. Third one, Gestalt psychology, psychodynamic model, humanistic model, behaviorism, cognitive model. So these are the theories and which were put forward during the past. Okay, so let's go through the next. Structuralism, right? So have you all heard about structuralism? So let me explain you this, then you all will understand what is this structure. Structuralism is one theory which was put forward by William Wundt. But William Wundt is a philosopher who contributed towards psychology, like in a large scale. Okay, so let's see what is structuralism. Structuralism was the first school of psychology and focused on breaking down mental processes into the most basic components. So in structuralism, right, now by the term itself, you can understand structure means what. So what they do is they break down a complex process into understandable small processes. Okay, that is the main thing that is in this particular theory. So structuralism was the first school of psychology and focused on breaking down mental process into most basic components. Okay, researchers tried to understand the basic elements of consciousness using a method known as introspection. Okay, so what did the researchers do? They used a method known as introspection to identify the basic elements of consciousness. Okay, now what is introspection means? What does introspection means? Actually, introspection mean where we observe or examine one's own mental and emotional process. Okay, introspection means where we observe or examine a particular person's mental and emotional processes. So by using this method only, they have understood about the basic elements of consciousness. Okay, so William Wundt, the founder of the first psychology lab, was an advocate of this position and is often considered the founder of structuralism. So this is an important thing. So they might ask, sometimes in examinations they can ask, okay, who is the founder of structure? So in MCQ papers usually you get this, who is the founder of the theory structuralism. So that was founded by William Wundt. Okay, despite the fact that it was his student Edward Titchener who first coined the term to describe the school of thought. Okay, so in anything, in normally usually, I mean, like in usually in any theories, there will be a person who actually put forward the theory, but there will be actually another person who had a backup. Okay, so similarly in this also, William Wundt only was the person who founded this particular theory on structuralism. Right, the next theory is functionalism. Functionalism is an early approach to psychology. Functionalism is an early approach to psychology that is concerned with what the mind does, the functions of mental activity, and the role of behavior in allowing people to adapt to their environment. Right. Now, this one in functionalism, in this theory, actually what they are going to study is about the mind. Okay, how the mind functions and how the mind adapts into the environment. Now, you know, when we as human beings, right, what happens is when a particular person changes their environment. Now, when you go from one environment to another, actually that one, you gradually you change, you adapt to that environment. Now, when you are in I mean, like when you are in grade, you can be like, for example, when you are in in your O level class, right, that environment is totally different. So when you, from your O levels, when you gradually shift to your A levels, what happens is that environment is different. So what happens is you can't deny that, you have to adapt to that environment. So that all those things is the function of the mind. So here in functionalism, what they do is they have studied how the mind functions and allows your mental activity in behavior with the environment. You understand? Okay, so this is actually this was mainly the functionalism theory was put forwarded by William James. He's also one of the philosophers in the past, right? He is one of the largest contributors in this theory, functionalism. Okay, so let's go to the next one. The Gestalt psychology. The Gestalt psychology is a school of thought that looks at the human mind and behavior as a whole. So now here what they are doing is they are looking at the human mind and behavior as one. Okay, they have combined these two as one. So you know, in the past, from past, now even at the present, people continuously do researchers to invent new things, right? They are fond of, now there are researchers who are really fond of inventing new things. Okay, so this is also the same, even in psychology, that had been happening since past. Okay, they have been introducing different theories. Now if one person put forward one theory, there will be another person to deny that and put forward another theory. The same thing, the result is this. So you get a lot of theories in psychology based on different people's researchers. Now here Gestalt psychology is a school of thought that deals with the human mind and behavior as a whole. So they have combined human mind and behavior together. Originating in the work of Max Wertheimer, Gestalt psychology formed partially as a response to the structuralism of William Wundt. Now here what they have done is this person, Max Wertheimer, is a philosopher who actually, like, he no, structuralism was introduced by William Wundt, right? But this Gestalt psychology, right, was introduced by Max Wertheimer. This person, he considered the theory of structuralism only, and he put forward this theory. So what he did was he modified it, right? He added some new points into that, and he put forward the Gestalt psychology, the theory. Okay, the development of this area of psychology was influenced by number of thinkers. Right now here what they actually, you know, in order to put forward a particular theory, it cannot be only one person's idea. Okay, it cannot be only one person's idea. So now here they have mentioned as thinkers. Thinkers means actually, now here we are dealing with human mind and behavior. No? So thinking is one, now we call this as a school of thought. School of thought. So thinking is the main, now here like scientists, we call them, now when if you do some experiments, we call them as scientists. Now here, since this is dealing with human mind and behavior, we call these individuals as thinkers. So what they do is they use their thoughts, right, in order to put forward this theory. And also it was somewhat similar to the theory put forwarded by William Wundt, which is structuralism. Okay, that is Gestalt psychology. So you all have to do a research on this, and you all better watch some videos on YouTube with regard to this and get more knowledge on this. So you all have to, as I told you all earlier, this slide was shared to you all. So well, you all have, by now it should be in your hand, the printed copy should be in your hand, and you all have to write whatever the extra notes that I am explaining here, you all have to write it in that. And apart from that, you all have to engage in research work, and you all have to write extra notes in the slide itself, the printed slide itself. Okay, next is the psychodynamic model. Okay, so now This is the approach based on the belief that behavior is motivated by unconscious inner forces over which the individual has little control. Now, you know that an unconscious inner control, unconscious inner force means most of the people, right? Most of the people, what they do is their behaviors are not controlled by them. They do it without their knowledge, right? Have you all have you all experienced that? Okay, now this theory is actually now it's even at present it is very applicable, because many people, their behaviors are not controlled. Most of their behaviors are not controlled by them. That is why they are called as unconscious, because of a long-term habit. I have explained this before. A long-term habit is one which develops into a behavior. Okay, so gradually once a habit becomes a behavior, okay, it becomes some sort of an unconscious. That means like you will have only little control of it. Now similarly, now if a person sleeps until until noon, now he doesn't get up early morning, so he gets up around 10:30, 11 in the morning. So if that person has been used to that type of behavior, so he cannot actually, he will take only little control of it. He cannot control it in full. Completely he cannot take the control of it. So that such behaviors are unconscious. So this psychodynamic model was introduced by Sigmund Freud. We consider that person as a father of psychology, right? Sigmund Freud. So that he's the person who introduced this theory of psychodynamics. Okay, so psychodynamic theory is mainly what he said was behavior is motivated by unconscious inner forces. Behavior is motivated by unconscious inner forces. That's the real fact actually. Okay, let's go to the next. Key features of the psychodynamic approaches. Our behavior and feelings. Now we are talking deep about the psychodynamic model. Okay, our behavior and feelings as adults are rooted in our childhood experiences. Yes, this is a very understandable fact. Our behavior, now even as an adult, your behaviors are the results of your childhood experiences. So if your childhood experiences had good experiences, yes, your behaviors now will be very good. If your childhood had bad experiences, your behaviors at present will be bad. So what he said was your childhood experiences are the results of the present behaviors. Relationships, particularly parenting, are the primary importance in determining how we feel and behavior. Okay, now when it comes to relationships, you know that many people, they talk about this relationship. Now when you talk about the parent-child relationship, it's actually a very, very long relationship. Okay, so that is why they have highlighted this as particularly parenting. Okay, so this parenting relationship also will affect a particular person's behavior. That means how that person feel and behave. So we can judge a particular person by his behavior. We can judge a particular person's family background by his behavior. Okay, our behavior and feelings are powerfully affected by the meaning of events to the unconscious mind, right? So now when your your behaviors and feelings, now I'll just give you a clear idea on this. Your behavior and your feelings, right, will totally determine, it will affect, right, by the meaning that you by the meaning that you give to your unconscious mind. Now if something happens, for example, if an incident happens, right, different people will take that particular incident in different ways. Okay, now just imagine if a person is going on a bicycle, right, in a motorbike, and that person gets accident. So when there are 10 people looking at that person, all the 10 people will take that incident in different ways. Okay, one person will tell that he was he was not attentive in riding. Okay, The other person might say, no, he was like sleepy, that is why he went. So that the way you accept it, the meaning that you give for that event to the unconscious mind is the one which determines a particular person's behavior or feelings. Now just imagine, I'll give another example as well. Now if a person, if a couple, I mean like if two people, a boy and a girl, now they have been in a relationship, and now what happens due to a breakup, now they break up. Okay, once they break up, these two can give two different meanings to their unconscious mind. One person can say, okay, it's just we have to just leave it, right? We don't need to go behind this, we have to just ignore this and we have to keep moving. So that is one type of meaning given to that event, right? So then how will that person's behavior be? He will just be like a normal person. He will not care about it, he will not think about it, right? He will not worry about it, he will just keep on moving with his life, right? But if the other person, right, if that person gives the meaning in a very different way, like, okay, I cannot stay without this person, right? I cannot live without this person, so I'm worried. If that meaning is fed to the unconscious mind, what happens is that person's behavior will be different, right? He or she will be crying, he or she will be worried, right? They will not have an appetite to eat, full of stress, depression, right? They will be out of their normal routine. So that is the difference that we have to understand. We have to understand that the way you feed an event to the unconscious mind will determine your behavior and feelings. Did you understand? Did you understand?
Sir.
Yes, very good. Okay, let's go to the next. Information can be obtained from dreams, irrational behavior, and what patients in therapy say, right? So information about a particular behavior can be obtained from dreams or irrational behavior and what patients say. Now during a therapy means, no, normally in counseling what they do is they do therapies only. Okay, now a counselor is a person who actually okay, can you just tell me who is a counselor? What is the best definition that you can give for a counselor?
The one who help us to overcome from our problems.
You mean like how does a counselor help?
Give their idea and suggestions to us. The best way to overcome from our problems.
Yes, actually a counselor is a person, he does not give a solution, right? He's a person who will not give a solution, but he or she will get the solution from us, right? Because
Yes.
actually you know that in the universe, right, in the universe everything is made in pairs. If you take a girl, there is a boy. If you take a plus, there is a minus. Okay, so similarly, if in universe it's universal balance, there is a theory called the universal balance. Now when there are, now that is, now actually this, even this pandemic situation is some sort of a balance which the universe, the nature is I mean like the nature is balancing the environment. That is why this COVID-19, because thousands of people are dying because in different areas of the world the population is very high. Now when you consider India is a country which has a very big population. So what the nature does is, now in 2004 December 26 the tsunami. So even in that, what happened was actually it's the act of nature. We cannot go beyond nature. If we try to go beyond the nature's rule, what will happen? We will be punished. Simple as that. So here what happens is, even in nature, what they have, I mean like there are everything is created in pairs. Okay, plus minus, girl, boy, whatever. So here, if there's a problem also, there is a solution. So if you take a particular person under stress or depression, whatever, who is mentally suffering, that person actually is with a problem, but always understand that person has the solution himself. The solution is also within him or herself. Okay, so you cannot get a solution from outside and feed it into that person's mind. Only thing what a counselor does is, they clear off that person's mind. I mean, like, they make that person to identify the solution which is within that person itself. So that is called a therapy. So that is what most of the counselors they do, right? Almost all the counselors, what they do in a therapy, they get most of the information from the patient itself. So that's why when you go to a counselor, right, what they do is they first tell you to talk. They let you to talk. They let you to talk even for hours and hours. They let you to talk because why? They first want to know what is in your mind. So they first get whatever the information from your, okay, and also some information they can get from behaviors, the way you behave. But if a person is not eating or drinking, or if that person is not sleeping well, even by looking at those behaviors, a counselor can judge and say, okay, this person is suffering from this type of illness. Okay, so that is how information is being we get information. The personality is made up of 3 distinct structures: ID, ego, and superego. Right? So I want you to just go through this. Right? I want you to find that. I'm not going to explain you what these are. Right? ID means your identification. Right? Ego and superego. You know what is ego, and you know what is ego. So ego and superego, you should know the difference. What is it? Okay. So I want you to write your own note on this in this slide itself. After you have printed this slide, I guess. So you just write this, the definitions of this, what is ID, ego, and superego. Defense mechanism are used to protect the ego. Example, repression. So this also the opposite of depression is called repression. Okay. So defense, that is the defense mechanism. Or if you take depression, the counter attack of depression is known as repression. Children develop through a series of
Excuse me, sir.
Sorry?
What does it mean, different mechanisms?
I didn't get you.
What is defense mechanisms? The third one. Defense mechanisms. Third one. Defense mechanisms are used to protect.
No, I'm asking you now, what is the defense mechanism in your body, human body? Can you just tell me? Now, in this
No, I'm asking
situation,
what does it mean?
yes, that is why
The
I'm going to
meaning
explain
of
you.
defense.
That's what.
Okay.
That's how. No, you don't know what is defense mechanism.
No.
Okay, defense mechanism is now if you take Sri Lanka, right? The defense mechanism is the 3 forces. Okay, the 3 forces are the 3 forces and the Sri Lankan police. They are the ones who protect the country. Okay, so that is our defense system. Now, if you take your human body, now at present, what do they say? They tell to have this kasaya and all these things. Why is that? Because to improve your defense system in your body. The defense system in your body is your immune system, right? Have you heard about this in TV now? Comments, you have to improve your immune system. Your immune system is your defense system in your body. So by improving your immune system, you are protecting your body from diseases. Okay. So similarly, in your mind also there is a defense mechanism. So you have to always take your charge of that defense mechanism. Okay, you have to take control of that defense mechanism. Now, repression means it's actually where you oppose something by a force. Now, if there is an ego, what do? You oppose it by a particular force. That is called as repression. Children develop through a series of fixed stages: oral, anal, and phallic. So this also I want you to, now you better highlight it. If you have the note in your hand, write your own note on oral, anal, and phallic. The next class I will explain you, because when Neil also comes, I will explain you during the next class. So what I'm telling you to write your own note, you better use a highlighter to highlight it. Okay, right? The humanistic model, right? Humanistic model. Let me explain it with Neil, okay, because this one goes a bit deep. This pyramid, it's a bit deep explanation. Once he come the next class, I will explain you. Right, let's go to the behaviorism. Right, behaviorism is now, can you just tell me what do you understand by this word behaviorism?
The way we behave.
Is actually, yes, behaviorism. Now we studied about structuralism, then we studied about functionalism, right? So now we are going to study about behavioralism. So let's read it. The approach that suggests that observable behavior should be the focus. This perspective views behavior, except for genetically determined behavior, as a result of environmental experience. Environmental experience, also called as learning, is the sum of total of all life experiences that the individual has been subjected to into the past and to the new experience that will. So now here what they say is, okay, so this behaviorism was introduced by John Watson. Okay, so and what he said was, he is saying that we have to mainly focus on observable behaviors. Now earlier they said that about the how the mind works, we have to think about how the mind works, and then some people said was, okay, how the mind and behavior works. But now here what he's telling is, we have to think, we have to focus on observable behaviors. Observable behaviors means not the behaviors that come genetically. That means genetically means from your mothers to y'all. Now genetical means from which come from generation to generation, from your grandfathers to your mother, and from your mother to y'all, right? From your parents to y'all, and from y'all to your ancestors. So that is called genetical. But here what we are talking about is the behaviors that resulted due to environmental experience. Okay, and we're not talking about genetical behavior. So now in behaviorism theory, John Watson, he told that you have to focus on observable behaviors. That means how a particular, I have explained this earlier also, that your experience is the best teacher. Now whatever you experience, that will be your best teacher. That's why in psychology they have said it is called as learning. Your experience is called as learning. So always remember, a person, now I will give you a best example. Now when you go to a vehicle mechanic, okay, when you go to a vehicle mechanic, you take your vehicle and there's a problem. Now, but you don't know what is the problem, but you can hear some noises, and you can see some, you can feel some uncomfortable experience when you are driving your vehicle. Now you take it to a garage and you tell the mechanic that, okay, there is a noise in this vehicle. So what will that mechanic do? He will just start the vehicle and tell, okay, there is a problem in this particular place. Even without, actually he might not have any degree, right? He might not have any sort of educational qualification, but he has learned all these things through what? How did he learn this? Experience. Very good. So he has learned it by experience. So when he came to this field, I think maybe he might have not known what these things are, but with experience, after you stay for about 4 or 5 years, but gradually he will start learning everything. And if you take a graduate who has just passed out of campus, right, he might not know what actually has happened to this vehicle, because he knows the theoretical part. This person knows the practical part. So experience is something which determines with your practical life. So always remember, when you are doing something, now even you're studying this psychology, don't just limit it to the theoretical part. Don't just take these slides, print these slides, and look at the slides, read these slides and close it and keep it until the next class. No, because psychology is a subject that you're studying with related to the mind of a particular of people. Always remember, in your home, right, there will be people of different age categories. There will be a younger one, there will be an elder one, adult, right? You're a teenager, and there will be people very old age people. So what you can do is you can apply whatever you're studying into their life, and you can study. So you have to apply it practically. So with your experience only, you can be a good learner. So this is what behaviorism theory put forwards. Okay, so behaviorism say that you have to look at observable behaviors. So a person's observe means which you can see, the behaviors that you can see, because there are some people where you cannot see behaviors, you cannot see their behaviors. There are there are behaviors, there are two categories now: behaviors, observable behaviors are there, and behaviors which you cannot see also are there, right? So what this behaviorism theory by John Watson, what he said was, he said that you have to focus on observable behaviors in order to understand or to know about a particular person, right? So observable behaviors means the behaviors which were made up due to the environmental experiences. All of us, not only you and me, everyone in this world, right? They learn through experience, and they gain behaviors through their environmental experiences. That's a common thing in man. So no one is perfect. No one is perfect in this world. Everyone has shortcomings. So what they do is they learn from experiences. They learn from experience. Now, if you take the best example that I can give is Steve Jobs, right? Do you know who is Steve Jobs?
Yes.
Yes. So Steve Jobs is a person who, like, his motto is think different. So he's now, many people, many entrepreneurs who have achieved the highest level of success, what they do is they use this thinking process. But if a person cannot think, right, that person cannot succeed in life. So always everything is depending on thinking. The way you think, that also is the main thing here, because if you think positively, definitely whatever you attract will be positive. If you think negative, right, definitely whatever you attract will be negative. So it all happened because I told you, your mind is what it acts the way you feed it. If you feed it with positive, definitely the outcome will be positive. If you feed it with negative, no, even in, I know, also remember, the main reason that you all are studying psychology is, what I feel, according to my perspective, is that you all study psychology, even in a negative situation, you all have to act positive. So that is the difference that you all can have when you compare yourself with other students, right? Students who are studying other courses. But when it comes to psychology, it should be totally different. You all should be exceptional than other students, because you all are studying something which is related to mind, where other students, they don't study, they study the subject material, but you all are studying about your mind. So if you take control of your mind, remember, definitely you all can create miracles, right? People who, like, everything is on mind. So you feed, even in a negative situation, you feed positive things into your mind. So that is how you have to change your mind state, and that gradually changes your environment. Okay. And also remember, don't ever in your life, in anyone's life, right, there will be experiences. It can be good experiences or it can be bad experiences. Always you have to accept those experiences as a source of learning, right? Some people say it's my fate. Actually, it's wrong. It's a source of learning. Nature gives the toughest experiences to the strongest people. So that one we have to understand. If you're strong enough, right? If you're really strong enough, the nature knows, okay, this person's mind is very strong, so we have to give a tough experience to that person. So that is how the nature judges a person. So we have to cope up with the nature in order to succeed in our life. So these are all with regard to behaviorism. Okay, so we'll stop for today on behaviorism. So it's actually a bit deeper. So we'll start up with our next lecture once I will share the link in your group, WhatsApp group. And do you all have any doubts for today, from today's class? Any clarifications?
No, sir.
Everything clear?
Yes.
Okay, so let's wind up the session.
Okay.
All right. Okay, thank you for joining.
Thank you.
Okay.